For 3 years, I thought my body had failed me. No periods after my appendectomy. Doctors said it was post-surgical stress, that it would regulate. At 31, my boyfriend wanted kids. So I went to a fertility specialist. She pulled up my surgical records and her face went white. MS, Jackson, you don't have a uterus. Or ovaries. What? I had appendicitis. They removed my appendix. Your surgical notes say complete hysterectomy. Performed by Dr. Catherine Webb. I'd been walking around for 3 years not knowing I'd been mutilated. Not knowing my ex-fiancé's mother had cut out my reproductive organs while I was unconscious and pregnant. Not knowing the man I'd spent 6 years supporting, paying his loans, funding his career, had testified in court that I was mentally unstable to cover up what his mother did. But here's the thing about stolen wombs and buried secrets. They always come back to haunt you. And when Park Ji-hoon walked into my life with his son and his vendetta, Catherine Webb's nightmare was just beginning. This is my story. Part 1. Before I begin, I need your help. Afro Seoul Romance Tales is a small channel telling dark romance stories where black women are the main characters, not the sidekick, but the heroine who gets the love, power, and justice she deserves. If you believe these stories need to be told, please subscribe right now. Your subscription helps this small channel grow and reach people who need to hear they're not alone. Hit that subscribe button for Afro Seoul Romance Tales. Now, let me take you back to where it all began. I met Marcus Webb in fall 2015 when I was 22. I was a nursing student working 3 jobs to pay tuition. Soul tired. The kind that comes from being the first in your family to go to college, carrying everyone's dreams. I was working overnight at a diner near Northwestern Memorial when he walked in. Marcus Webb, 26, second-year surgical resident. Handsome, polished, everything I wasn't. He ordered black coffee, sat at the counter with medical journals. We talked until my shift ended at 6 a.m. 3 days later, we had our first date. Within 6 months, we were inseparable. We talked about marriage, children, building a life together. But there was always his family. Marcus came from old Chicago money. His mother, Dr. Catherine Webb, was chief of surgery at Pierce Memorial, one of the most prestigious hospitals in the Midwest. They hated me on sight. At their Lake Forest estate, Catherine looked at me like I was something unpleasant on her shoe. So, Amira, what do your parents do? My mother is a home health aide. My father passed when I was 12. I see. And you're studying nursing? Yes, ma'am. How practical. That one word dripped with contempt. They never included me in family photos. Catherine introduced Marcus to suitable women at every event. I told myself love would be enough. After 2 years, Marcus confessed he was drowning in debt. His parents had cut him off to teach him the value of money. He owed $180,000 in student loans. I can't ask you to marry someone this financially unstable, he said. I didn't walk away. How much are your monthly payments? $1,500. But Amira, I can pick up another shift. Take on private duty nursing. I could clear an extra $2,000 a month. He cried. Told me I was amazing. Promised he'd spend his life making it up to me. That was February 2017. I was 24. For 4 years, I worked myself into the ground. I couldn't pursue my master's because every dollar went to Marcus's loans. I worked overnight hospital shifts, double shifts at the diner, weekend private duty. I wore the same 5 pairs of scrubs. Lived in a rough neighborhood for cheap rent. Meanwhile, Marcus thrived. Finished residency with honors. Published research papers my money funded. Got accepted into a fellowship at Pierce Memorial. By spring 2021, I'd paid off $180,000 of Marcus Webb's debt. I was 28. I had $3,000 in savings. My own loans were in forbearance. But Marcus made attending surgeon youngest in hospital history. And he proposed. You've given me everything. From now on, I'm taking care of you. You'll go back to school. We'll buy a house. Start a family. This is where our real life begins. I believed every word. I had no idea that in 6 months, my world would be destroyed. I thought I'd found forever. I was wrong. What Catherine did to me while I was unconscious. I wouldn't discover the truth for 3 years. But the destruction started 3 months after that proposal. July 2021. I discovered I was pregnant. 8 weeks. 3 tests before I believed it. I'd missed birth control pills with my chaotic schedule. When I saw that positive test, I felt fierce, protective love I hadn't expected. I told Marcus that night. "It's perfect," he said, smiling. "We'll move the wedding up. My parents will deal with it." For 2 weeks, I was happier than I'd ever been. Prenatal vitamins. Cut back shifts. Imagined our child. I told my mother, who cried with joy. Told my best friend Shanice. Marcus said to wait until the 2nd trimester to tell his parents. What I didn't know, Catherine already knew. Marcus had told her immediately. She'd already decided what needed to be done. At 10 weeks, I woke at 3 a.m. with severe abdominal pain. Sharp. Stabbing. My lower right abdomen. I recognized it immediately. Appendicitis. I called Marcus. "Come in now. We need to operate before it ruptures." The baby will be fine. Come in. The ultrasound showed a strong heartbeat. 10 weeks, measuring perfectly. The CT showed an inflamed appendix. "We need to operate," the ER attending said. "My mother will do it," Marcus said. "She's the best surgeon here." Dr. Catherine Webb performed my surgery. I signed the consent forms. Trusted them. When I woke up, Marcus was crying. The baby? His face crumpled. "I'm so sorry." Complications. The appendix ruptured. Severe infection. My mother had to make difficult decisions to save your life. The pregnancy couldn't be saved. My world shattered. Catherine came in later. We had to remove some damaged tissue to prevent infection spreading. "You're fortunate to be alive. You're young and healthy. There will be other pregnancies." I believed her. I didn't know my appendix was never inflamed. I didn't know Catherine had poisoned me for 2 weeks. I didn't know she'd performed a complete hysterectomy while I was unconscious. I didn't know she'd stolen my ability to ever have children. The entire surgery was designed to make sure I could never trap Marcus with a pregnancy again. I thought losing my baby was the worst pain. I was wrong. 2 weeks later, Marcus destroyed what was left of me. And I wouldn't learn what they'd really stolen for 3 more years. 3 days after discharge, Marcus helped me home. Said he'd take the week off. He was there for 3 days. Day 4, he became distant. Checked his phone constantly. Made excuses to leave. Day 14, he came to my apartment with a face I'd never forget. Guilty. Resolved. We need to take a break. What? The last few weeks have been intense. I've been thinking about us. I think we rushed into the engagement. Marcus, we've been together 6 years. My mother thinks we need time apart. She thinks you're not in the right headspace. Your mother? I just lost our baby and you're breaking up with me because your mother. You're being emotional. You're unstable. My mother said the hormones would make you irrational. Get out. Amira. Get out. He left. Like 6 years didn't matter. Like $180,000 didn't matter. Like the dead baby didn't matter. 8 days later, Shanice showed up with wine and her phone. You deserve to know. Marcus's Instagram. He was engaged. To Vanessa Hartley. White. Blonde. Surgical resident. Catherine's protege. Posted 1 week ago, 2 weeks after he dumped me. Excited to announce my engagement to the love of my life. Here's to new beginnings. Shanice showed me more photos. Marcus and Vanessa at hospital events. Dinners with his parents. Photos from months ago. Before my pregnancy. While I was working 3 jobs. He'd been cheating on me the entire time. His mother had known. Had approved. Had orchestrated it. Because Vanessa was suitable. White, wealthy, connected. And I was just the help who'd served her purpose. I thought that was rock bottom. But 3 years later, a doctor would show me what Catherine really did. And I'd learn, you can't hit bottom when there's no bottom at all. I went back to work at Pierce Memorial. Same hospital where Catherine was chief of surgery. Where Marcus worked. I threw myself into patient care because if I stopped moving, I'd break. Moved back in with my mother at 28, sleeping in my childhood bedroom. Tried dating. But I'd built walls nobody could scale. And my periods never came back. Post-surgical amenorrhea is common, my doctor said. Give it time. 6 months became 12. 12 became 24. 2 years without a period. I tried supplements, acupuncture, diet changes. Nothing worked. But I didn't pursue testing. Couldn't afford it. Too exhausted to fight my body. Until I met Trevor Richardson. Summer 2024. I was 31. Civil engineer. Quiet, kind. We dated slowly. When he talked about marriage and children, I panicked. Because I couldn't have kids. Could I? I didn't know. April 2025. I made an appointment with Dr. Nina Okonkwo, a fertility specialist. You've had amenorrhea for 3 years following an appendectomy? Yes. And you've been trying to conceive? About 6 months. She typed, clicked through screens. Her expression changed. Confusion. Concern. Anger. You had an appendectomy in July 2021? At Pierce Memorial? Surgeon was Dr. Catherine Webb. Yes. Why? Long silence. MS, Jackson, you didn't have an appendectomy. The room tilted. What? Your records show complete hysterectomy with bilateral salpingo-oophorectomy. You don't have a uterus. You don't have ovaries. You don't have fallopian tubes. All reproductive organs were removed. I couldn't breathe. That's a mistake. I had appendicitis. The surgical indication is severe endometriosis with ruptured ovarian cyst. But if you'd had that, you would have had symptoms for years. Chronic pain. Painful periods. Did you? No. I was healthy. I was pregnant. Her face went still. You were pregnant during the surgery? 10 weeks. They said the baby didn't survive the ruptured appendix. But if there was no rupture, the truth crashed over me. They lied. Catherine lied. Marcus lied. They mutilated me and called it medicine. Can you prove there was no medical reason? I can request your pre-surgical imaging, blood work, pathology reports. Then it was assault. Then Catherine had stolen my body and covered it up. Discovering the truth should have set me free. Instead, it started a legal battle that broke me again. Because when I fought back, the system protected her. And Marcus destroyed me in court. Dr. Okonkwo helped me get my complete records. Pre-surgical CT, normal appendix. No inflammation. Blood work, no infection. Operative photos, healthy organs being removed. Pathology report, no endometriosis. No cysts. No infection. All tissue healthy and normal. Catherine had removed healthy organs without cause. I contacted legal aid. Got assigned Jennifer Park, a young attorney. This is clear-cut malpractice. But Catherine Webb is powerful. This will be brutal. Are you prepared? I want her to pay. We filed in August 2025. Medical malpractice. Battery. Fraud. Catherine's legal team was brutal. They argued my consent forms were adequate. Produced a nurse who testified my organs appeared diseased. Brought expert witnesses who contradicted ours. Then they brought Marcus. October 2025. Marcus testified I was emotionally unstable. That I'd trapped him with the pregnancy. That I'd made threats against his mother. He painted me as a gold digger. A liar. Mentally unstable. The jury believed him. Case dismissed. Judge ruled insufficient evidence of intentional misconduct. Statute of limitations had expired for criminal charges. Catherine walked out victorious. I walked out with $47,000 in legal debt. Trevor broke up with me in March. I can't handle the intensity. I thought about quitting Pierce Memorial. But I didn't. Because leaving felt like losing. So I worked there and survived and waited. My mother used to say, God don't like ugly. Karma's got a long memory. I believed in waiting. Because what else did I have? Then, November 2025, a stranger walked into my life. A Korean CEO with his own vendetta. And everything changed. November 12th, 2025. Evening shift in the ICU. A man stood at the nurse's station. Korean. Early 30s, expensive suit. Eyes that carried weight I recognized. I'm looking for Nurse Amira Jackson. That's me. Can I help you? I'm here about Dr. Catherine Webb. She killed my wife. I'm sorry, but I can't discuss. July 2020. My wife, Park Ji-hoon, came here for routine gallbladder removal. Dr. Webb was the surgeon. My wife died on the table. They said complications. I believed them. He set a business card on the counter. I've spent 3 years investigating Catherine Webb. I've identified 12 suspicious deaths under her care. Organ trafficking. Falsified records. And your lawsuit came up in my research. I've read everything. He leaned forward. I believe you, Ms. Jackson. I know what she did was real. I stared at this stranger who believed me when a courtroom hadn't. I want to speak privately. About what she did to you. About what she's been doing for years. How do you know about me? Because I have resources to investigate properly. Call me when your shift ends. We can help each other. Park Ji-hoon, CEO, Park Holdings International. I should have thrown it away. I didn't. I called 3 days later. We met at a restaurant in River North. Thank you for coming. I wasn't sure you would. You said you believe me. Nobody else has. I believe you because I've seen the pattern. 12 deaths. Wealthy patients, foreign nationals, organs harvested, deaths ruled as complications. Catherine Webb has built an empire on bodies she was supposed to save. He showed me documents. Death certificates. Financial records. I can't prove it alone. I need living victims willing to testify. I tried. I lost. You lost because you were alone. This time you'll have my lawyers, my investigators, my resources. Money that makes institutions nervous. Why are you doing this? Because my wife is dead. Because my 5-year-old son grows up without his mother. Because Catherine needs to pay. He hesitated. And because my son needs a mother figure. Someone who understands loss. Someone strong enough to survive what Catherine did and still show up every day. I understood before he said it. You want me to be his nurse. Private nurse. Taeyang is terrified of hospitals since his mother died in one. He needs medical care, someone to help him heal. I'm offering $200,000 a year to provide that care while we build the case together. $200,000. This is a transaction. Yes, I'm offering stability and justice. You're offering care for my son and testimony to destroy Catherine. It's mutually beneficial. He slid a contract across the table. Think about it. But don't take too long. Every day she operates, someone else might end up like us. 3 days later, I called back. I'll do it. For justice. The money and justice aren't mutually exclusive. You deserve both. When do I start? Tomorrow. If we're destroying my enemy together, call me Ji-hoon. Then I'll see you tomorrow, Ji-hoon. For the first time in 8 months, I felt purpose. That was December 12, 2025. Everything changed. I moved into Ji-hoon's estate. Met Taeyang, beautiful, traumatized 5-year-old. He was terrified at first. But I was patient. Read to him. Answered his questions. Slowly, he started to trust me. 3 weeks in, I brought him breakfast and he looked up. Mama? Not a statement. A question. A hope. My broken heart remembered how to beat. Ji-hoon and I spent 18-hour days building the case. Finding victims. Gathering evidence. Following money trails. And somewhere between case files and late-night strategy sessions and watching him be a father, I felt something I thought had been cut out with my uterus. Hope. Rage transformed into purpose. And something else I wasn't ready to name. Because late at night, after Taeyang slept, when we'd review evidence with whiskey we weren't drinking, I'd catch him looking at me. And something dangerous would shift between us. But that's part 2. I'm 2 weeks from watching Catherine's world collapse. 2 weeks from the Pierce Memorial Gala where she'll accept a Lifetime Achievement Award. 2 weeks from FBI agents walking in with handcuffs. 2 weeks from Marcus discovering the Barren nurse isn't broken. 2 weeks from standing in that bathroom hearing my colleagues mock me one last time. Right before Ji-hoon walks in, and they realize how badly they underestimated me. That's part 2. How the Barren nurse became the nightmare Catherine can't escape. The story of justice, revenge, and a love I never saw coming. You don't want to miss it. That's part 1. I know you want to know what happens at the gala. About Ji-hoon and me. If Catherine goes to prison. If Marcus pays. If I get vindication. You'll get all of that in part 2. But I need something from you. Subscribe to Afro Seoul Romance Tales. This small channel tells dark romance stories where Black women are the heroines who get the power, love, and justice they deserve. Your subscription helps us grow, tells YouTube our stories matter, helps us reach women who need to hear they're not alone. Hit subscribe right now. Like this video if Amira's story made you feel something. Comment. Does Marcus deserve to be destroyed too? Have you been gaslit by medical professionals? Have you sacrificed everything for someone unworthy? I read every comment. Your stories matter. Turn on notifications. Part 2 drops soon. In Part 2, how Taeyong changed everything. How Ji-hoon and I fell in love planning revenge. The full bathroom confrontation. Catherine's arrest at her award ceremony. Whether Marcus pays. Whether the Barren nurse gets her happily ever after. Don't miss it. This is Afro Seoul Romance Tales, where Black women win. Subscribe now. This is Amira Jackson. My story isn't over. Not even close.